What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 4 of the PokeMMO podcast. We've got a super fun episode today with one of my good friends, Sliide. If you don't know him, get to know him because he is awesome. If you want to just quickly go over the catch events, make sure to just scroll to the end of the video. I will have timestamps as well. And of course, if you want to support the project, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube and follow it on Spotify. Both of those help me out a ton and motivate me to continue this series. Regardless, thank you so much, and let's get right into the episode. Well, sick, dude. Well, again, thanks for agreeing to do this. I told you before, whenever I started it, it was like I want to get you on here and Dimitri on here just because I have the most fun chumming it up with you guys. So appreciate you taking the time.
Of course, bro. Of course. I'd love to help out. And like you said, just chatting with you is fun enough. So I'm sure the podcast will be great.
Oh yeah. Amen, dude. Well, why don't you kick it off by just introducing yourself, how long you've been playing the game, and some of your favorite aspects of it.
Of course. My name is Sliide. I don't necessarily have a content creation channel, but I do try to be as helpful as I can as possible. I started the game I think right after COVID ended or during COVID.
Yeah.
That was 2022, which sounds crazy, but I took a break from it after I did the story. I was kind of just focusing on the story, and then I went back to playing whatever other games I'm into.
Yeah.
And then around last year, when I realized that Johto's coming back, I was like, okay, let's get my toes wet again, dip my feet in, and see if I get a different experience this time. And then I started getting into shunting, and I've been shunting ever since, man.
Yeah, no, it's sick. It was nice too. Like with Johto being an addition to the game, I feel like it was really cool because it allowed a lot of players who, kind of got burnt out to come back and experience the game and hopefully get back into it. It's frustrating to play without a ton of content being added, and so with them adding a whole new region and legendaries and events and all that, it's made it a really cool like prime time for people to jump in.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And do you have to think about all the other people that have played for the past 10, 12 years, 15 years, whatever it may be? They've been waiting on Johto forever. Like, Johto was always tomorrow, right? And then we
Yeah,
just
dude.
be around when it was tomorrow. So I'm glad I hopped in at the time I did.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like it's because I had the game downloaded. I think my card says what is it, 2023 or something. But I like basically just played through the region, played through Kanto with some friends, and I was like, yeah, this game like isn't anything special. It's just a Pokemon game. And then I was very incorrect about that. So
Now a whole ass YouTube account. That's crazy.
yeah, here we are, man.
I know.
And now I'm looking at this trainer card with like almost 2K hours, and
Oh yeah.
it's
Oh
just
yeah.
insane. But yeah, I got back into it, and I just ended up jumping in, and then like a few months later, actually I think a month or two after I started is whenever Johto dropped, and I was like, oh wow, cool, they're adding this to the game, and I didn't realize what a pain point it was for all these people who'd been waiting for years.
Did you have any experience with Heart Gold and Soul Silver back in the day?
Oh yeah, dude. My best memories with Pokemon are the like memories of transferring Pokemon to my Pokewalker. It was like my favorite thing of all time, dude. So
yeah. I was in a pinch last year. I needed some cash, and I sold off my Pokewalker. I didn't realize it was worth
no.
I didn't realize it was worth like $70. I was like, $70 is $70. Let me get rid of this thing.
Yeah, dude.
I placed the battery, and it was good to go.
Oh, for sure. No, it's cool. It's honestly crazy how much those like the physical copies are just shooting up. Like, dude, even I went to what is it, GameStop, the other day, and I bought a copy of Moon because I've never played through it. But there was a copy of, I think it was Emerald. It was like over $100 for just the legit copy of Pokemon Emerald, which blew my mind.
Yeah, Emerald is kind of pricey. If you look at like the overall sales of all the Pokemon games that have ever come out, I think like Ruby, off the top of my head, I don't have it in front of me, but I think Ruby and Sapphire sold like over twice as much as Emerald, just because Emerald was the third iteration.
Yeah.
So there are going to be less copies floating around, and even if you look at the Extreme, which is black and white too, I think that one's worth like $25 with the box right now or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'm pretty familiar with this website called Price Charting. That's where I get all this information from, but it's kind of anecdotal right now.
That's kind of sick though. I mean, it's crazy. I remember a few years ago I was in the same position where I was like, "Oh, I just, I need to simplify things. Like, let's see what I can Facebook." And I looked, and my Pokemon game collection has been like my best investment to date. So kind of fun.
For sure. Yeah, we were also lucky enough to be 90s kids to get a little taste of that too.
Amen, dude. All right, well, sick. Well, I'm looking at your showcase that you linked. Um, no, well, for one, I'm seeing a lot of golden dogs. But
hey, that's a sore spot, dude. That's a sore spot.
But yeah, I know from experience you've done a ton of like rare shiny hunting and things. And what pushes you to do that over hordes? And I mean, how insane do you have to be to kind of focus that way? Like I respect it a lot because I think all of my Pokemon are hordes except for like 2 or 3 or like 3 times hordes, which are still hordes.
Yeah.
But it just blows my mind, dude. So what possessed you to get into singles?
My first shiny I ever got was actually Electros, and that was before they changed up the horde split chances. So like back in the day, I was able to do 50-50 shunting between Joltik and Tynamo.
Yeah.
In Chargestone Cave, and I swear it felt like forever, but in retrospect, it was probably only about a month of 5 hoarding on and off. And when I got it, I felt amazing, right? Just like anybody else would with their first shiny.
Yeah.
And then my second one was I went for a Staryu. That was in my old team. Shout out Team Zomb. We used to have a Staryu bounty, and the whole team stood there for about a month. And I got lucky enough to be the one that got Staryu, and I phased 3 times prior to finding Staryu. But the rush of trying to find the single before everybody else kind of like poisoned my brain, bro. I realized I wasn't going to go back to hordes anytime soon. And since then, I've kind of just been stuck on them, bro. I have Electros, and I got a Litwick at a team event, and then I kind of just rocked with those 2, and I found 20 singles in between then, and I kind of never went back. Yeah,
well, I can imagine. Like I've been grinding for, like, I got that single encounter, but it was random and it was at like 2K. I got the random Gloom whenever I came to chill.
yes. At Route 120.
Yeah, dude, it was funny, but I've been doing so many encounters for Muna and for Love Disc, and it's just been like my experience with singles so far has been, hours upon hours of grinding. And even the Staryu event, dude, like I spent hours, and then like I would switch and I'd get burnt out, and I'd switch and get a horde shiny in like 2 to 3 hours, and it would kind of piss me off because I was like, oh, well, if I would have just stayed, So I can only imagine. I mean, that's an experience that we'll have to freaking follow up on once I actually get a single encounter. But
I mean, I did just get my last shiny was a horde, though. With all of that being said, my last shiny.
Oh yeah.
I went in recently. I've been dwaddling in the safari. I think that's pretty fun. I got lucky and I got a teddy ursa there.
Yeah.
However, like a week later, I found a Houndour and I lost it. I threw one ball and it was a rat, bro. It just decided to leave. Didn't even give me a chance. Just left. And I bought 100 Leppas. And I was like, you know what? I just need to feel something right now. I was pretty distraught. I was a little distraught, right? I walked into Giant Pass to get me a Spoink, and my second sweet scent, I got him a chop. I phased, but it was a horde. It felt good. It was my first time I ever found 2 shinies in a single day, and I like it. It's a little avocado guy. I can't complain.
I know, dude. Honestly, what's really nice is like, because whenever I initially saw that you got Machop, I was like, oh, like, I mean, that's cool, but dude, freaking Machamp's Gen 5 sprite is super clean. Like, some of the 3D sprites have really turned me off to a lot of shinies, but I feel like looking at the Gen 5 one, it's just like the green is so vibrant. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude. I've always loved it since Gen 4 days. Since Gen 4 days, I've always loved Machamp because back in the day, OU, it used to be pretty useful. It had no guard, so you're just able to dynamic punch everything. So I have good memories with it.
Yeah, dude, the back sprite is hilarious too. It's got like the 4 shoulders or whatever.
He's jacked, dude. It's a nice back sprite.
I know, dude. That lat spread has to go crazy.
I know. He's putting in work, man.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's sick. I mean, and again, a rip to the Houndour. That's never fun, I can imagine.
If you go to the safari, you have to know what you're dealing with, man. You have to go in with no expectations. Like I was cooking a steak when I found it, and I was just kind of like, all right, I already know how this is gonna go. Houndour is a really sketchy flea rate, so
Yeah.
I didn't have much expectations with that guy.
Yeah. So did you like whenever you encountered it, after like the initial rush and shock, was it like did you sit down and calculate it all out? Like what's the flea rate? What's like how did that process go?
No, I kind of just have my inherent knowledge of like knowing Houndour is sketchy and the
Got
Safari
it.
Empress. I think I watched Danny with 6 Ys lose a secret shiny one in the Safari.
Oh,
So I saw that about a week prior to losing my own. So it didn't sting as bad knowing. And then when I saw his reaction, he tends to hang out in the Safari a good amount. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, this part of the game, bro. You go in with expectations. Yeah, you can't I don't know lie to yourself and expect everything to be a catch there.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed. Like you said, you have to know what you're getting into, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And with that being said, you inspired me to start hunting cast form actually, and
So good.
dude, it's amazing. That's been my hunt for the past like 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And it's brutal. I mean, I just try to like catch cast forms in general to egg them later, and it's dude, I already know that when I find a shiny one, it's gonna run. So I'm
Yeah.
mentally preparing myself for that.
Yeah, dude, I literally had to stop catching. I was gonna do like a ton of boxes of cast form, and I don't know how expensive they are now, but every now and then they get bought out and they get super pricey.
Oh yeah,
But
oh yeah.
but yeah, like I was going in just trying to catch my own, and I ended up just leaving because I was like, I don't know if my little heart could survive that experience, dude.
Exactly, exactly. So that's one of my long-term goals right now is and eventually getting a cast form. That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Oh, for sure.
Like Team Rocket, what's Team Rocket say? It says clout shinies. Like that's probably a good clout shiny to get.
Oh, well, yeah, it's what's cool is it's super rare, right? Like it's only in the Safari Zone. And then on
Hmm.
top of that, it has a hard catch rate and
Hmm.
it's just like it's very unique. Like you don't see a lot of players with a shiny cast form, you
I don't
know?
think I've seen one to be honest, but I know they're out there. I just haven't had my own experience with seeing one as a follower sprite. So that's one of the drives to keep me going.
Oh, for sure. No, it's super cool. That's again, I mean, even looking at your current hunts here, I see Archon, which is a great one, and
Oh yeah.
that's like what motivated me to go for Bastiodon, or I
Uh-huh.
guess Shieldon, is
Okay.
I have not seen it in the game. Like I have
Hmm.
not seen a player. I've seen a player with the shiny Shieldon, but
Uh-huh.
for some reason, I just think Bastiodon is such a cool Pokemon.
Yeah, I think a lot of the fossil shinies kind of just like come down to people really wanting like an Aerodactyl or an Archon or
Yeah.
but they're all amazing. I mean, if you have one, like good for you, man, because most people will never have that opportunity.
Oh, it's a huge flex, and it's fun too. Like, what's nice and part of what motivated me for that, because originally I was gonna go for Lillipup, but
Hmm.
I ended up not doing that because I think Lillipup is the most expensive fossil in the game, if I
Is
remember
it?
correctly. The root,
I'm gonna check right now. Actually,
yeah.
let me check
Look
that
up
out.
the root fossil.
Hmm.
Yeah, right now they're going for 20K a piece.
Yeah. See,
Yeah, because the I
for
think
five chances
Claw.
at a shiny is it gets pricey.
Yeah, dude. Oh wait, I guess Claw's more expensive right now, but the Hoenn fossils are both above 20K. I don't know about like Plume. Oh my gosh, wait, Plume's expensive too.
Yeah, Plume is pretty sketch.
Yeah, I'm just lying out my ass over here. I guess they're all expensive,
I
but
mean, with that being said, it does fluctuate every now and then, so I wouldn't be surprised if like the average person doesn't have this information off the top of their head.
oh,
It's
for sure. Like look at like if you look at this though, I mean, armor fossils are only 6,000, 7,000 a piece, which is nice. Which that was part of the motivation. And
Mhm.
what's nice is I've always wanted a shiny Spiritomb. And
Sure.
so I've been doing my own fossil farming in the Turnback Cave for
Oh
the
yes,
Spiritomb chance as well. So
yes. I don't think I've seen someone catch one there, but I've seen many hatched. Dude, if you catch one, that would be
yeah,
spectacular.
that's like one for me where it's just straight master ball, I
Hmm.
think. One,
Hmm.
because it would look good in the master ball, and then two, like just like you said, all the ones that I've seen have been hatched. So
Sure.
actually like finding one in the wild on this super rare chance and then having it be shiny would be so sick.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
What
dude.
other goals do you have besides Spear Team right now?
So as of right now, I'm going for let me actually pull this up. I have a little Google Doc or I guess a Google Sheet. So I'm going for Love Disc mainly. I don't know if you saw, but in our team they have like some. It's like just a team member hosted event where they're betting on how many heart scales I'm gonna get before I end up getting it.
No, I did not see that in Discord.
Yeah, dude, it's if you look on the Discord, it's in. Let me go down to. Oh my gosh, I want to find it. Yeah, so in general chat, there's a thread called YoungCabbage Betting. What is it?
Oh, I see it.
A betting board, and everybody's placing and like sending money. I think the amount's
What?
over. What is it? It's close to 2K now.
Bro, Team Pori with the
Or I mean 2 mil. Yeah, dude. So but you got some people in here betting on my downfall, man. Like, there's one guy like Watcha bet 4,200. Freaking Hagane bet 5K. Like,
Yeah,
they're
I'll get in on this after the call.
yeah, dude. No, it's funny. I've already the team for the most part doesn't know this, but because I am paying to be a part of it as well. But if I win, I'm gonna donate 100 heart scales to like the winner, like just pulled at random with the money. So just kind of a fun little gimmicky thing because a few of them were like, "Oh, he's gonna manipulate it and cheat," and I was like, "Just wait. If you want me to win, trust."
So my question would be: are you hoarding heart scales for immediate cash, or are you going to start holding on to them for when raids eventually make their return?
Yeah, so it's the whole idea is raids is like I've known that heart scales. I was hunting Love Disc for a little bit just for fun, and then the Lunar New Year event dropped, and I ended up making a ton of money on heart scales, and it made me realize like what a good market it is and like good investment of time it is for events because as of right now, I mean they're selling for let me pull it up. It's always around like 7 or 8K.
Always,
I remember. And so, but during the events, it got up to around 10 to 15. And so you essentially like double your investment of time on that.
Oh,
so
for
I
sure.
sold like 200 of them or something crazy and just made, I robbed the bank. It was sick, dude.
I mean, yeah, my memory with you and heart scales is we were fishing at Evergrande City for a fair amount of time in December.
Oh,
Correct me
yeah.
if I'm wrong. And then in January, the Chinese New Year event dropped, and I remember having the discussion with you, like, are you frisking or are you using suction cups? I was like, I'm just using suction cups. I just need the shiny
Yeah.
fish. The second Chinese New Year rolled around, I was like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
Up at least a mil.
Yeah, dude, and that's what's so funny is like I was doing it unintentionally. I was like, I'll just farm them for fun. Like I don't care. Gives me something to do. And then it dropped and I was like, holy, these are exploding. And so I ended up selling a ton to like teammates and stuff for I think like 14K, 10K a piece. It was disgusting. So, especially once raids drop, dude, and the amount of like I feel like heart scales will naturally like their middle price will increase too because of
Sure.
how often raids are gonna drop. Like if they're consistent, dude, we're gonna be, hard scale farming is gonna become a huge market, like more than it already is.
Do you foresee them dropping the raids at the volume? Like when they introduce raids, say they do it, I don't know, June 1st, right? Let's say they do it June 1st. Would you be overwhelmed or would you be pleased if they dropped the same amount of raids that were in the Zodiac New Year event? Like say they drop more than 10 at once. Do you think that would be too much for the community to handle?
I think personally I would be overwhelmed, but I think a lot of players would find it beneficial and exciting. Like my personal thing is just because like for me it's just it was so much. Like I'm not very PvP minded. And so I was just sitting around like waiting for Cab to put out videos and stuff, like just trying to like cheese it and figure it out. But that's me personally. I'm more just shiny hunter, like Oonga Boonga, left, right. Whereas like for someone like him, he eats up that like it's a big part of his channel. Like people like him and AFC Adinho are gonna like explode once raids come out because they're so PvP minded. Like it's super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something to keep in mind. The meta in PokeMMO isn't necessarily the meta in other Pokemon games. So the people who have been around for about 5 or 6 years, not just shiny hunting, the amount of information they have in their little heads are just so much. And people like you said, AFC and Cav, like, oh man, they're really gonna benefit from raids once they drop.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be insane, dude. And it's like they're gonna be awesome assets to have too. Like especially Cab being in our team is gonna be sick.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, dude, I mean, it's a good question. I don't think that whenever raids initially drop, they're going to drop as many as as they did during the Zodiac um like event or whatever that was. But I definitely think I can see them dropping like kind of like alphas. Maybe it's like, oh, like a raid has, a raid den's been activated at Route 8 and it drops maybe once every in-game day. And so then you cycle through them. Or, like maybe it's one in every region every in-game day or something. Because that would be more manageable, I think. That it's going to be exciting to see, in my opinion, at least.
Oh, for sure. And then the way the market's just going to shift with alphas and everything, it'll be interesting. It'll be fun, man. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like you. I'm not necessarily PvP minded. I get it. Like I
Yeah.
used to PvP a lot. This is where I show my age. I used to PvP a lot in Diamond and Pearl and Platinum.
Yeah.
So I still have like a base knowledge of how things are supposed to go, at least up to Gen 5. So it's fun. I look forward to them, man.
No, it's sick. So do you think that a lot of people have been thinking that that's how they're going to implement the like Generation 5 alphas? Do you think that that's just because as you know, like you need a mod to see the Gen 5 Pokemon as followers. And so they actually don't have those sprites as followers that they can legally use in PokeMMO. So
Huh.
alpha swarms and stuff like that, that's what a lot of people are speculating is that they can't have those Gen 5s. They can't use like um what is it, like Pokemon assets
Yeah,
or
I'm
whatever
looking
it
at that
is.
too.
Yeah, and so it's like a lot of people are thinking that they're going to introduce them in raids rather than in like alpha spawns, just so
Okay.
that way they can roll out more alphas for
Oh,
the decks.
I got you. I'm following.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would, if that's the case, then I think that would be the beneficial plan. I'm not 100% sure on the on necessarily the accuracy of that because we do have Mincino alphas, correct?
Oh, yeah.
And also, yeah, and the follower sprites are also blown up. Am I wrong? Like
I th-
the sprites out on the field when you go to Mincino Swarm
I think you're right because
alpha.
those are because if I remember correctly, because you have like Muna too and Musharna.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Um, and the reason for those, at least though this is what I was told, so I could be completely wrong, but is because in Pokemon Black and White they have those like sprites, like a trainer in the overworld has them, or like whenever you play through Black and White, there is like the Muna that's being attacked, so they have those sprites.
I'm
You
with you.
know.
Dude, I learned something today. I did not know about any of this.
Yeah, so there's little like Pokemon like that can spawn, like for example Patrat, like Alpha Patrat and Watchhog, and things like that. But it's really interesting. I wonder, like that's something I've always wondered too. Is like, is it just because of the lack of sprites, or what? Like their decision to kind of withhold a lot of the Gen 5 alphas has been. But regardless, I'm excited to see if they end up adding more of them to like the what is it, like the different raids and different mechanics like that.
Yeah, dude, I'm kind of like taken back. It never crossed my mind any of this, but yeah, man, give me a Bisharp alpha and I'll be good. That's my
Dude,
take.
Shalfa Bisharp would go crazy, dude.
Yeah, I love Route 9. It's one of my favorite places in Unova just to do some singles on. You're able to get what Duosion, Poniard, Gothitelle, and then
Yeah,
Garbodor. I
yeah.
love that.
Which,
I love that spot.
dude, freaking, what is his name? Oh yeah, the Garbodor one has such a good sprite or shiny sprite as well. Have you seen that one's shiny?
I think it's one of the most slept on in the game. I also like ugly mons and stuff, so I'm kind
Yeah.
of biased, but I still think it's pretty slept on. Yeah.
No, I'm the same way. Like one of my favorite Pokemon is Weezing, and a lot of
Cool.
people think I'm weird for it, but I love it. Like I just love how ugly it is. It's like the what is it, like the pug or like bulldog effect, It's so ugly, it's
Oh
cute.
yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about Grimer. I like its follower sprite, just the eyes constantly staring at you. It's
Yeah, dude.
pretty solid.
No, it's a good one. I have Muck, but part of me wishes I left it a
Oh
Grimer because I
yeah.
I really do like the Grimer follower
Its
sprite
name is
too.
Uh-oh Stinky, right?
Yeah.
I remember when you got it.
Yes, sir. Well, it was a sad day. I mean, I still haven't gotten the shiny coughing after all this time. I've given up on it, man. It's just
Oh
it was too
yeah.
much.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I do mostly singles, but I spent my time for coughing just so I can eventually start the Zoro one.
Oh, dude, that's another good one that I want to start, but I see so many people phase so many times on it that it just intimidates me.
I try to look for it in the Safari too when it's spawning. It's a pretty solid mon to have.
Zora, it spawns in the Safari too?
No, coughing.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I was like, that's crazy.
No, it's just that one cursed spot that everyone despises.
Yeah, dude. Freaking, like, who is it? Somebody on our team. I think it's Athena has like 7 Venipedes or something weird.
Yeah, God bless their heart, man. I don't know how they
Honestly.
keep going. I don't know how they keep going.
I'm pretty motivated, but I mean, if I'd gotten 7 Venipedes, I don't know how motivated I'd be to continue that shiny hunt. I'm gonna be honest.
That's why I had to take a break from Route 120, dude. I hit 9, and the concept of 10 phases on an Absol just hurts me. I kind of take a break.
It's brutal. So I'm looking through. So it's been Oddish, 3 Mightyana, an Oddish and a Gloom, and then 3 Linoon, and then a Kecleon.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, it's something like that. I honestly lose count. When people ask me, I'm just like, dude, it's all a blur. I've been there since September of last year.
Yeah. Dude, freaking, at least you got the Kecleon. The Kecleon's a really good one, too.
Yeah, it kind of became my little, like, mascot. I really like Kecleon. I also got lucky with the IVs. It's a solid little guy.
Yeah, dude.
Not really has any utility whatsoever. I've tried. It's just my little HM monster now. It just hangs around and cuts trees for me, but it's still cute. Sick. I like it.
Yeah, it's fun to get little guys like that. Like, originally mine was Swadloon, but I mean, I feel bad. I've kind of switched to Baltoy because Baltoy's, like, let me link you this really quickly.
Yeah,
Baltoy's sprite, it like matches the Unity cape in a really weird way.
Oh, you're right. It does.
Let's see if I can.
It does.
Here and find. Oh, thank you. Let me.
I got you.
There it is. Yeah, but yeah. So it looks like it kind of matches the green Unity cape, and it's just like a really cool Pokemon.
And where'd you find it again?
You
hatched it. You hatched it.
Yeah, I got it in Relic Castle.
Yes,
sir. I just ended up hatching it there.
Many moons ago, there was a bounty, and it was at Relic. It wasn't Relic Castle. It was rather in the desert there, and it was for Baltoy. And I got lucky, and I phased a Trapinch on a single encounter. So
that's a good phase.
I can't complain. Yeah, I advocate for that route, and I feel like it's pretty good.
Yeah,
you can get some good stuff there.
Dude, yeah, the one thing I was concerned about, I was actually curious, just as like a genuine question for me. So as part of the storyline, you go up and you take like the fossil from the top of that
correct.
Mirage Tower. Yeah, it crumbles. So can I just never go back to that on this character?
So I remember for this bounty, there was a good number of us there every day. That was the question, right? Like, how come it's showing up for me? How come it's not showing up for this guy? How come it's there today, but it's not there tomorrow? Honestly, man, off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure, but I'd like to say Relic Castle's still accessible. It just spawns in some irregular pattern. That's my take. I do remember taking the fossil up top, but I did spend a good amount of time in there because for the catch OT, I'd rather it be inside Relic Castle as opposed to just the route, whatever it is.
Oh, for sure.
110 or I believe, I forget.
Yeah, really. I mean, yeah, it's a super cool location in general, right? Like there's so many good Pokemon too there to phase on, like Trapinch and Cacnea is an amazing one.
Sure.
Stuff like that. So actually while we're chatting, I'm literally just gonna run back and forth between the 2 routes to try and get it to spawn to see if I can fact check it.
I wanna shout out 2 routes actually in Hoenn that I think are really slept on.
Yeah, dude, let me know.
It actually follows right. Oh yeah, so Route 111 is where Relic Castle resides, correct?
Yeah.
So if you go to Route 113, just head to the left from Relic Castle, you end up in that spot where the ash falls.
Oh yeah.
That spot's great.
Spot, right?
Yes, I think it's one of the best spawns in the game. Like I'm here, I just walked over to channel 1 to confirm, and there's nobody in the spot hunting. Although nobody likes singles, this place only has 5 spawns, bro. It's Skarmory, Spinda, Sandshrew, which is the worst one, which isn't truly that bad. Yeah. Slugma, and then Houndour is on lure. So I'm kind of here trying to resurrect the Houndour that I lost in the Safari, but I also am here for literally anything else. I phased a Sandshrew here in the past, but Skarmory, Spinda, Slugma,
No,
They're
that's a
all
super good one, dude.
yeah.
I didn't realize that whenever I
Mhm.
was going for Spinda there, because everyone just uses it as like, the 3 times Spinda spot for alphas.
Absolutely. And then to the left of that, of course, is Full Arbor Town,
Yeah.
and that's where you can, of course, do the little Ditto hunt, right?
Hmm.
But also, not a lot of people know this, but the little ponds that you have in Full Arbor Town,
Yeah.
there's what, two or three, and then there's the big water patch with the waterfall, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. That's 100% barboach if you fish. It's a really slept on shiny, man. So between Route 113 and then there's the ponds in Fall Arbor, and then Route 114, you're able to get, and then I'm sorry, Route 114, you're able to get Swablu, Zangoose, Combuskin,
Yeah.
Seviper, some crazy mons here, and it's a really good spot. So I spend a lot of time just walking between 113 Fall Arbor and Route 114 because you can get so many good mons here.
Oh, yeah. Is that where you got? That's where you got your shift tree, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I found a shift tree and a Swablu. I phased those two looking for Combuskin, and here we are fishing at 114
Yeah, dude.
now.
I did not know this was 100% Barboach. This is Whiscash is one of my favorite Pokemon, so I actually might just eat this spot up for it.
And if you use a lure, you can get Starmie. So boom, this place has some.
Oh my, are you serious?
Yeah, man, there's some good shit here.
So it's literally just Starmie and Barboach,
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah, that's cracked, dude. This is for sure the next like fishing spot I think after Love Disc because I
Mm.
was gonna do Relicanth, but
Oh,
Relicanth that's in a tough spot, dude. Like,
he, Relicanth was actually the first Pokemon I ever saw that was shiny IRL.
oh really?
Yeah, my good friend, caught one underwater in Ruby or Sapphire or Emerald, I forget. This was when I
Yeah.
was like in fourth grade, dude. And I remember just looking at it like, oh damn, maybe shinies are kind of cool. I
Yeah,
never
dude,
really looked into them.
I think there's one on the GTL right now. It's just so clean, dude. Yeah, there's one on the GTL, the blue.
Ooh, let me check it out.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Relicanth has always
Oh
been one of
yeah,
my favorite Pokemon, just from like Generation 3. I just thought it was like a really unique design.
sure. Conceptually, it's pretty nice. It's a
Yeah,
little
it looks
ancient
awesome.
fish,
It's a little old man. It's kind of hilarious,
right?
but it's
Right.
like, yeah, it just I don't know. It's a really solid one. So I've been
Absolutely.
really into fishing. For some reason, singles kind of kill me,
Hmm.
but fishing encounters don't feel like single encounters because you're not doing like the running back and forth.
Sure, sure. And it's also more bang for your buck for your lures as well. Especially
Yeah.
if you have suction cups out front, it's or sticky hold. It's pretty helpful.
Oh no, it's yeah. You're totally right. It's super nice. Plus, you have the. I mean, I think I told you this, but I'm going for a shiny of like every encounter method.
Yep, yep, yep.
And one of them is unfortunately the SOS method, and I'm pretty
Oh,
sure it
yes.
only works with fishing. I could be wrong about that, but if you kill both the fish,
Hmm.
they have like a chance to spawn 2 more Pokemon. And what's cool is you can actually get Pokemon that aren't found on the route. Like for
Hmm.
example, at the Love Disc spot, if you kill the 2 Pokemon that spawn at that spot, you can only get Love Disc, Corsola, and Whalmer. Then with a lure, you can get what's his
Corsola?
name? Mantine is
Oh,
his name.
Mantine, you already said. Yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah, and so, but if you end up killing those Pokemon that spawn,
Hmm.
I've gotten unfortunately Tentacool to spawn and a Magikarp. So it's
Huh.
just like really unique. It's like the what's his name? B Vegan in our team has been going for the level 100 Goldeen that
Yeah,
appears in
man.
their resort area.
Hmm.
It makes you wonder, like, I almost want to go through and do the SOS method on like all the fishing routes and see what there is.
Do you think like Best Friends in the forums has a post about that? I've heard it get brought up here and there over the past year. But I don't know like anyone's an expert on the SOS stuff.
Yeah, so I personally haven't been able to find anything apart from the surface level. Like, yeah, if you if you SOS and like you get SOS from fishing, and I don't think somebody told me honey trees as well, but I've done a ton of honey trees and I haven't been able to find anything.
Hmm.
Like I've never gotten one, but that could just be RNG.
Okay.
Um, but as far as like on the forums goes, all I've seen is you get it from fishing, and then as well it's like um, it has a chance to spawn another Pokemon, is what they all say. But I
Hmm.
don't know if there's like a pool that all of the SOSs like draw from.
Hmm.
Like maybe it's only
A
a set
regional
like
pool.
yeah, like maybe it's like oh yeah, if you're in Unova, you'll get Basculin in this one, or how when you get Magikarp and Tentacool, or however that works. But I'd be really curious to see if there was some kind of like rarity system. Yeah, see, look, I just got 2 Magikarps that just
Oh,
joined the fight
I'll
on this
inspect
route.
you real fast.
And it's like normally you can't find them with the super rod, so it's just kind of
Huh.
interesting. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. That's a great topic. That'd be a great video on your end too.
Yeah, it's just gonna, be a lot of testing. Is I wanted to, if I were to make it, it would just be, unfortunately, go to like every route, and then if I'm only seeing Magikarp and Tentacool and stuff,
Hmm.
because I've seen it to where, for example, like it'll be like a Love Disc joined the battle, and then a Wailmer joined the battle. So it's like the Pokemon on that route, but the only Pokemon that I've ever seen get SOS called are apart from the ones you can like naturally find are
Sure.
Tentacool, Magikarp, and Goldeen. Those are the only ones that I've seen.
Got you.
But
Got you.
yeah, it's kind of an interesting topic. It's really fun. It just shows you like, I mean, the game has been out for a while, and there's
Hmm.
so many people who have dedicated hours to figuring stuff out.
Hmm.
But there's still like so many stones that are unturned, and so many Pokemon that are viable that we don't know about.
Sure.
It's just crazy, dude. It's
Oh,
like
absolutely.
strategies every day.
That's part of the fun with this game, man. If you're able to find something that works for you that maybe you haven't seen before, it feels really satisfying.
Oh yeah,
Some type of utility, etc. Like for example, one day I was just checking out Octillery's moveset, and I was like, why does it have so many good moves, but no one talks about Octillery? And
yeah.
since then, I dropped Spinda and I use Octillery to catch every single alpha, dude. So like,
Seriously?
I swear, that's one of the most satisfying moments I've had in MMO is when I made this thing that I've only seen one other person have after the fact.
Yeah, do you mind linking that to me just so I can
Yeah,
check
let
it
me toss
out?
it your way and I'll explain it. It's doesn't really matter which let me find.
And you don't have to go into depth if it's a hush hush strategy. I
No, it's
respect
nothing like that. I'd love
it.
for more people to know about it. It's I sent it to you. There's nothing really too crazy going on. Doesn't the IVs aren't necessarily too important either, believe it or not. As long as you have good defenses and HP,
Yeah.
anything that makes you live long is the first thing I'd recommend. But long story short, with the moveset, teach it entrainment, so you're able
Hmm.
to change the ability of the other mon to your own, which is suction cups.
Yeah.
Soak, T-Wave, and Seismic Toss. That gets the job done for me. First turn, I send out Octillery against whatever Shalfa it may be. Thunder Wave it, soak it, entrainment, and then I S-toss it until it's in the red, and I throw some net balls, and that's really all it takes.
That's crazy, dude. That's
Yeah,
probably a lot cheaper too than people shelling out so much for all of like the dream balls and stuff. I don't know if those are the same
exactly.
price, but
Um,
probably takes less turns, I would imagine as well.
it does take less turns. I very rarely get it. What is it? Indignant, or is that from the raid? Whenever it gets pissed off,
Yeah.
all of its
Yeah.
stats double. But yeah, that's just an example of the little things that you can do in this game to like make it more fun. Like Spinda gets boring, of course, when
Yeah.
you do alphas all the time or every single time at least.
Hmm.
So yeah, just little things like that keep you going, man. Just set your own goals, find the things that you like, and try to have fun with it. And like that Octillery is an example of like if I didn't make the Octillery, I'd probably go to like half as many alphas because I already know what's going to go down every time.
Yeah, you're just gonna skill swap, and it's like I have one, and like it's efficient, but at the same time, like you said, sometimes it's good to trade efficiency for a favorite or for a unique strategy. Like, and that's a pain point for some people where they're like,
Sure.
oh, like a lot of times, like I think I've showed you this guy, but like this is what I use to catch Pokemon, and it's honestly been super fun. It's like a Vigoroth, and
Oh
then it
yeah.
just has Yawn, False Swipe, Slack Off or
Yep.
Slack
Yep.
Off, so that way you can heal. You get Covet, so that way you can either KO things or steal items, and then
Sure.
as well, Yawn activates in the same amount of turns that it does with Spore. Like you just Yawn then False Swipe rather than Spore False Swipe, and
Oh
you
yeah,
end
you're
up
right.
instantly they're asleep, and so it's like it's kind of convenient. But yeah, I have people all the time who will see me using that, and they're like, "Dude, it's inefficient. Like you're wasting your time. Like I can't believe." It's like, first of all, this is a video game.
Exactly. Play how you like.
Politely piss
Exactly.
off, and
Sure.
then second of all, it's like not that this was any ingenious strategy to come up with, but it was just more fun to end up making. You know what I mean? Like it's fun to have my own like unique catching Pokemon rather than
Exactly.
Oh, I
Exactly.
sent out Breloom rather than having a party of Breloom, Paris. Wait, Breloom, Parasect, Spinda, like, and Dragonite. That's like the
Exactly. Yeah, something like
typical,
that. Sure, sure.
the bread and butter to say.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I guess that's also something I would tell to any beginner as well. Like, one, optimize alpha catching. It's an easy way to make money, right? And then two, like,
Yeah.
do it in a fun way so you don't get burned out. Like, make your Vigoroth, make your artillery, make whatever it may be, like, and forget what other people have to say unless they're just like truly trying to teach you something they think you don't know. Like, just
Yeah.
do it your own way. I wouldn't be playing this game if I was doing hordes all the time. I would have quit a long time ago. It's
Oh,
just
for
not
sure.
nearly as satisfying as finding a singles.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right about that. It's like it's set goals or die is like the whole theme behind this game. So,
Oh, for sure, for sure. We'd all be quitting a long time ago if we didn't set our own goals.
yeah, dude. No, and so going back to kind of like the single encounters, just because I find it interesting.
Sure.
On average, you don't use an encounter counter, correct?
That's something I don't do, man. I don't use an encounter counter. Psychologically, it's just me. I feel like I would have stopped shunting a long time ago if I knew visually how much time I've put into this shit. Because I see the trainer card and I'm like, 4,000 hours? That's subjective. 4,000 hours feels like 2,000. It's not a big deal. But I can't
Yeah.
lie to myself how many encounters I did.
It's a good point. Yeah. Plus,
Yeah.
it's like even like I'm even noticing that now where like it's one thing to get a gloom at 2000 and be like on top of the world. Oh, like, cool random shiny, but then it's like I end up now I'm like around 45 50k dry and I'm like all pouty every time I go to shunt love disc. I'm like already defeated,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It gets
yeah.
old. It does get old, but you just have to stay positive. Find a team that you like, join a team, have a chat that's like somewhat interesting to you.
Yeah.
Try not to focus too much on global chat and their negativity, and you can play this
Oh,
game for
yeah,
as
dude,
long as your
that
determination leads you.
global chat is a whole, I mean, you could write a book about how toxic and funny that is, though.
Oh yeah, you can. I mean, one thing I always have to remind myself when I get annoyed with global chat is that's where everybody starts, bro.
Yep,
Like we
we
all
were
were,
all there.
we were all in global chat at some point. Like no matter what level you are in this game, you're all in global chat.
Yeah, dude, it's honestly like it's like the first sifting part of this game where it's like only the strong survive at first because you ask one question in global and you get like
Yeah.
people are LMAO, this guy's an idiot, he doesn't know what he's talking about. You're
Exactly.
like, what? Like, dude,
Exactly.
just tell me where the bike is. Like, I don't like I've played this game since I was 6. Like, chill.
And so I think that does speak also to we're all, of course, we're in the English global chat, but
Yeah.
I don't think all languages are as harsh as the English global chat. That's what I've
Fair.
heard through like the grapevine, that like a lot of them are pretty tolerable. That this we just happen to be blessed with the craziest one.
Yeah. How fortunate for us. My
Oh, I know,
goodness.
right? I know.
Man. Yeah, well, thinking about this, I guess one question I wanted to ask about the singles too
Hmm.
is like how long has it taken you to get like a shiny Pokemon? For somebody
Sure,
who wants to sit down and get a single, it's not as easy to calculate as like, oh, well, you can always say 30,000 encounters or X amount of Leppas or
sure,
just
sure.
stay there till it shines. It's easier and faster. But with a single, it seems like a lot more, at least for my personal experience, it's a lot more discouraging.
Hmm.
Um, and
It
maybe
can be.
that's, yeah. So, like, what advice would you give to people who want to switch to single encounters? And then, like, how often, from your experience, have you been like getting the single encounters?
Sure. Just like I brought up with the Safari, you have to know what you're getting into, bro.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have that instant gratification that you would get if you would be just hoarding 5 hordes. Of
Mhm.
course, 5 hordes has its own financial burden as well. You have to pay for leppas,
Yeah.
but yeah, with singles, you have to expect at least 250 hours at least of time that you put into the
Jeez.
game. Like, don't expect anything sooner.
Yeah.
Like I have around 23, 24 shinies, something like that, without counting.
Yeah.
But like I just had my first day where I found 2 in a day. Like I just had my first experience with 2 in a day. I thought that would never happen.
Yeah.
So expect 250 hours per shiny. But like I said, I got 2 in a day, both of which were one of which was a single, another was a 3 horde. But the chances are chances, bro. Might get 30,000 encounters and get your first shiny. You might get 2 in a day. I've seen people get 3 singles in a day. It's all a
Jeez.
matter of luck. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. No,
Don't
that's
also
good
don't work.
advice.
Don't focus too hard on being on Dono. Don't focus too hard on being on a charm. This is all anecdotal, but a majority of my shinies have been off Dono, off charm. Just like
Oh, really?
working, making food, doing something, and then just I like glance over and I get the runaway notification like, "Hey man, are you sure you want to run away from a shiny?"
Yeah.
And that, to me, the feeling of seeing like, "Are you sure you want to run away from a shiny?" is you can't capture that in any other game. It's just like, "Oh damn, you did it! Like, don't run away. You're defusing a bomb."
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
No, so it's, I mean, I imagine there's some kind of rush with that because even whenever, like, my first few, um, like shiny Pokemon that were hordes and things, I was really like nervous where your hand gets very heavy as you're trying to like choose what Pokemon to KO and all that stuff. But especially like whenever I got the Gloom, dude, it was like I kind of froze for a second before typing in chat. I was like,
Mhm.
what am I looking at here? You know what
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean?
It
Like
feels
the feeling
foreign to
was
look at
different.
just a single on your screen, right?
Oh, no, it totally like it was a different experience and that's why like it like I don't know, it changed my like perspective on shiny hunting at least where I was like, why am I going for the common ones? Like I can do that during team events or something. Like
Exactly.
I need to just sit down like I want to find something rare, like
Mhm.
I want something cool to like flex and walk around with and be like super proud of.
Exactly. That kind of speaks back to my story. I got my first 2 shinies. They were hordes. My second was Litwick. Or my second horde shiny was Litwick, and I got it like in 3 sweet cents, and that was after I already got Starmie. So I was like, you know what? Getting a single feels like you get struck by lightning, and in comparison, this feels like, I don't know, I just turned on a light switch. Like I knew what was going to happen eventually,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's
dude.
kind of my perception. And then to all the listeners, just do what you find is fun. Like
Yeah.
we have a buddy named Luis Zero. He has how
Oh
many
my
shinies? How
gosh.
many shinies does he have, bro?
He's got I think in the 40s, right?
No, I think he breached into the 50s. I think he's almost done with
Holy.
the box. So, like, yeah, shout out Louis Zero. You can do free shunts. Like, if money is an issue for you in this game, you can do free shunts. You can go to Full Arbor Town, like I was saying, go to the
Yeah.
Pokemon Center, get your PP back up, go to the pond next.
Yo, yeah, go get your pee up, dude. You
Yeah,
heard it here.
go go back to the pond, do some mails, run out of mails, go teleport, go back to the Pokemon Center. You can get the
Yeah.
shiny that way. Our friend Louie has 50 shinies free shunting. So put that into perspective.
Yeah, dude. No, it's awesome. By the way, I think we found the name for the episode.
Get your okay.
Get your PP up, man. That's Slide's biggest advice here.
I have one
Uh,
takeaway from here, ladies and gentlemen. Just make sure your peepee's up before you start shunning, because you will get in a bad position.
Oh yeah. No, but on a serious note, it is crazy to like look at that where it's easy to get envious, for example, right? Like you look at um the shiny showcase, at least like for our team, and you see I think his name is Diovin or something, and Lewis Zero, and they're both just insane, right? Like they have so many shinies, but all of them are hordes for the most part. Like every single one is a horde, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
But then it's on the opposite side of like a player can spend the same 200 hours to like 2000 hours grinding one hordes and one single,
Hmm.
and yeah, like one of them can have 20 at the end of the day and the other person can have two, but those two are going to be like almost twice as valuable as those shinies combined. Like it's kind of
Exactly.
crazy.
Exactly. But I mean, but it's all subjective at the end of the day too. Like, just
Yeah.
if doing hordes is your thing and you have a blast, they might have more fun than me doing singles. Like, and it might be more rewarding for them. So
Oh yeah.
like I always encourage. Like, I never try to push anything on anyone in this game. I feel like elitism in PokeMMO is kind of cringe.
Yeah,
Just
dude.
the community's so great, and if you put yourself out there, you'll always find people to support you.
Oh yeah, dude. No, 100%. It's really cool. It's like I feel like I'm a broken record with how much I bring it up, but the amount of like support and kind players that are in this game is such a unique thing that I'm not used to with like online games. I
Mhm.
mean, this is my first MMO,
Okay.
but like playing, especially I came from like Valorant and stuff like that. And that game's notorious for it. But I mean, a lot of these online games, I remember playing through Scarlet and Violet, like the mainline Pokemon games for the first time.
Mhm.
And I had to get 1 or 2 trade evolutions done for the decks. And
Okay.
I had people that were like making fun of me for like not having one, a friend to trade with, and two, they're like, dude, imagine like not having 2 switches to trade between. Like, look at this guy, like imagine not being able to afford 2 switches. I'm like, can you just help me? I didn't ask for your opinion, bro. But
Exactly.
there's so many people here that you go, hey, can someone help me with the trade evo, and 2 3 people jump on it, or you ask for advice, and obviously there's the trolls out there, but there are a lot of people who, like you said, if you keep putting yourself out there, you're going to find a really cool team and a really cool source of support that way that like makes you excited to get on the game. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like I've spent, like I was to fall back to Route 120. Everything always goes back to Route 120. I've
Yeah.
met so many cool people just from sitting in that one route. Like I've
Yeah.
met a couple people that joined the team just because like we ended up chatting over a fair period of time. Then I was like, hey man, you should join the team I'm in.
Oh, that's sick.
And like Yomi, for example, was just a name that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Make your goal, follow through with it. There are so many other people with that same goal. It will surprise you, and you make so many friends in this game that way.
Yeah. No, it's awesome, dude. I mean, we've known each other for months too, and we've gone from one team to the other, and we've had each other's backs and all that in the game, and
Mhm.
shiny hunted together, and
I know, yeah. I'd like
it's
to say
crazy.
I'd like to say we started around the same time, man. So it's special watching you like blossom into being like one of the most popular content creators in the scene. Like
Oh.
it's so cool. It's so cool. I love
That's
it.
nice of you, man. No,
Yeah.
it's fun. And again, it was like it's all thanks to the cool community. Like I remember, I mean, again, I think I've said this in at least 4 of my videos or live streams, but like posting my first video, I was so insecure about so many things, about like, are people gonna like this? Are they gonna brush this off? How's it gonna
Yeah.
go? And it was instantly just met with like support from other content creators that like didn't just like the video or whatever, but they like
Sure.
went to my Discord and found me, and they were like, dude, I love this video. Like, this was sick. Or, they hopped into my live stream and they're like, hey, like, you're entertaining. Here's a piece of advice. Or,
Mhm.
hey, like, I love this video. Next time, try this. Like, constructive criticism and just overall support. It was super cool to see,
Mhm.
because I feel like every time I've thought about content creation, as well as just putting yourself out there in anything,
Mhm.
um, there's always the thought of like what's going to happen, or especially with content creation, so many people want to go for that and so many people want to try that, that
Sure.
I feel like it's intimidating, and people are a little bit more nitpicky at times.
Mhm.
But it was just kind of cool to see that like there was no pride among like any of the creators. It was just like,
Sure.
hey, we love this game. You're making more content, which gets this game more attention. Like, keep
Mhm.
going. It was really cool.
I think also that speaks back to the population of the game. We're kind of in a bubble, bro, especially when it comes to content creation. The only person I think that really kind of breaks the bubble into the Pokemon algorithm is what, Petrowski?
Yeah.
When do you think this game is going to break that bubble? It's going to start to become more popular because, like, let's be real, this is better than any mainline game, like
Oh,
by a
yeah.
long shot, a long shot.
No, I definitely agree with that. And I think, I mean, as far as breaking out of the bubble, I think I can see it happening, um, with the implementation of raids, or the implementation of some event in the future or something like that,
Hmm.
that basically becomes popular and gets a lot more traction online. Like, maybe we get to a point in a few years or so where we have so many content creators, because even in the past year, so many have popped up,
Oh yeah.
where it's like we have so many content creators that eventually it gets across, someone's page. Like think of, for example, like Ludwig with Pokerogue.
Okay.
Like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that streamer and like kind
Oh,
of
for
what
sure.
they're
Yeah. No, I'm
doing.
aware. I'm
Yeah,
aware.
like, so he started playing Pokerogue or whatever it was, and then from what I heard, like the servers were overloaded
Hmm.
like the day after his stream, and
Yeah.
they ended up having to do maintenance and open new servers, and
Yep.
like there's so many people that just blew that game up.
Yep.
And I know we got like a lot of players from Ruffled Rowlet who did like a little or like a little, I think it was 100-day challenge or something
Yes,
insane.
100 hours, something like that. I watched that video.
Yeah,
I think I'll piggyback off that. Ludwig or Ludwig. I don't watch him like actively, but I'm aware of him, obviously.
yeah,
I saw a while ago. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but he does a podcast. I think with his like IRL, like his actual real friends, not content creators. At least back in the day, and one of
yeah.
them referenced PokeMMO, and he said like, "Oh, I can't do that because like." He either insinuated like he doesn't want people to know it exists because either A, the servers would explode, or B, it would get shut down. So he's like, people like that know. It just
Oh,
takes
weird.
one of them to come from Pokerogue, for example, into PokeMMO. And I
Yeah,
feel like this game could change almost overnight,
for sure.
whether it's for good or for bad. I'm very curious how that's going to eventually, it will happen. I'm just a matter of when. I mean, like
Yeah,
in like what you said earlier about like speaking about Adino and PvP, like so all it takes is one person to say like, "Wait, that's not the meta. What game is this guy playing?" Right?
exactly.
Or
Yeah,
they'll see some funky mod on the screen that'll
yeah,
catch their eye. Like for me, I saw a secret shiny Shedinja hatch like around 2022, and I was like, "What the hell is a secret shiny?" Then I watched the video, and
yeah,
I'm like, "Boom, let's do it." I'm interested now, and
yeah.
that's how I'm here. And it's been history ever since.
Yeah, dude, no, it's cool. I was the same way where I Legends Arceus, however you
Yeah,
say that.
yeah.
That to date, from like the Pokemon Company, that was my ultimate favorite Pokemon game.
Likewise.
And going through that and like alpha Pokemon, and it really gave this unique feeling of like you were actually exploring Pokemon. The way I explain it is like Pokemon Legends Arceus played how it felt like the regular games played in my head as a kid. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it captures
Yeah.
like that childhood whimsy of like you have
Yeah.
this open field in front of you. You can go as far as the eye can see. Like,
Yeah, like we don't see grass, like you see the potential of what could be in it and all these cool Pokemon, and that to me was so exciting to like walk around and see them. And that got me open to the idea and concept of alphas, which I thought was really unique. And then whenever I re-downloaded PokeMMO, I was just like chilling and playing it. And I remember I had a buddy who had gotten into it and he was like, "Oh, like that's I was going through Mount Moon in Kanto and I saw there's an alpha Teddy Ursa, and I couldn't catch it, and I was like getting frustrated. I was like, this thing is insane. And then he like kind of explained to me like what alphas were vaguely, and then again, like you said, the one mechanic just instantly. I was like, this is so sick. Like that's so cool that they added something like this. What else do they have? And once you see the rabbit hole and you start to go down it, you just get sucked into the game, dude.
oh yeah, that was a beautiful game. Beautiful game. I played it twice. I only beat the Pokedex once. Or completed the Pokedex, beat Arceus one time,
Yeah.
and it was a great experience. Like I didn't even have a Switch at the time. I had to borrow my friend's Switch, and
Yeah.
I played through the whole game and gave it back. Like, thank you. That's how determined I was to finish the game.
Yeah. No, it's a freaking good one. But and that's the thing is it's just like kind of going back to what we were saying with all of that, if people could give this game more of a chance and like more of a second look, because from at least like most of the people I've talked to, it's almost like their second or third time picking up PokeMMOs whenever they get into it. It's like the
Oh
first
yeah.
time is like, oh, the initial, this is cool, all the regions are connected.
Hmm.
But if you look at, if you get into it and you figure out teams and charms and events and all these things, like it's pretty hard not to get sucked in.
Yeah, exactly. Get your toes wet in the community, and yeah, you'll be stuck here.
Yeah. What are a few things that, from your perspective in the game, you would like to see implemented, changed, adapted, stuff like that?
Okay, so I started I started during the anniversary event, right?
Yeah.
So I thought it was gonna be like that all the time, and that's what kind of made me quit the game. I was like, "Hey, the event's over. Let me just mosey on over back to Destiny 2 or whatever I was into at the time, right?"
Yeah.
I wish I was more involved in the community then. I wish there was an easier way to use the forums, perhaps. I know it's an old complaint, but the forums themselves can use a little update.
Yeah.
Uh, and maybe more communication from the devs, of course.
Yeah.
However, since I started playing, I've only seen good things from the devs. I know it changed a lot over the past 10 years. It used to be kind of more so radio silence or
Yeah.
just not as communicative. But even just seeing Rach in our Discord,
Yeah,
speak
dude.
upon certain things. I could tell it's come a long way.
For sure.
So I guess communication from the devs would be nice. Just letting us know if there's an anniversary event this year. Just would be convenient, especially for content creators. Those are the individuals who really push the narrative for the game for people to join.
Yeah.
Maybe that. I don't have too many complaints, man. It's a beautiful game. Like I have nothing to complain about. I really don't have too many. What I'd like to
Yeah.
see added, maybe tier difficulties for raids.
Yeah.
That you'd be able to choose from right when you interact with the raid den, as opposed
cool.
to having a star system. If they do drop raids and they're going all in, I hope they go all in on it. I don't want it to be something that's half-assed, right? And I'm not even
sure.
someone that does raids. It's just good for the game.
Yeah.
But something I would like to see, or maybe dungeons opening up, right?
Yes,
Like
dude.
just like an alpha, it would pop up something saying like a raid or a dungeon is opened up on Route 120, right? You head to Route 120, and in the trees and on the tree line, there's a little hole that opened up. You go inside, and there's something that happens in there.
Yeah.
More overworld events, maybe an update to the chat as well. That would be very nice. More quality of life changes would be fair, so long as it doesn't take away from the rate at which we receive events. That's what I would kind of encapsulate this all with. More quality of life changes that aren't at the expense of events would be great.
Yeah. No, I think that's genius, dude. And one thing I'll say too, this is, I'm sure you know, because you've played Black and White, haven't you?
Yeah.
So the way that I was thinking that they could do dungeons, which this is kind of like a weird idea, and I obviously there's a lot to it that I'm sure you would need to troubleshoot and think of. But I sent you a little link from Bulbapedia. Is the hidden grotto mechanic from Black and White? Do you remember this?
I haven't heard that phrase in forever. Yeah, give me a moment.
Yeah, dude. So it's basically it's two trees that come together every now and then. Like there's a leaf out of place or something like that.
There we
And
go.
so you go up and you interact and you end up climbing through this super small like brush.
Yes.
And it leads you into an opening. And I was thinking it would be such a cool idea for them to have that to where it's like a hidden grotto has, appeared in Route X in Unova.
Sure.
Right?
I think you just nailed it. I might have just been communicating that. I'm misremembering, like I made up the idea. But
no, it's sick.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's a little opening in some trees or something that people can go get a hidden ability Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't even need to be some massive Pokemon. Like you said, just have, 4 Pokemon in there that have heightened shiny odds or have, heightened like a 1 out of 4 chance to have a hidden ability. Because then it would add like another daily thing to go check. Or, maybe they don't even tell you about it and it's like phenomenons where every now and then, like once you enter a route, it has a 1 in, 2,500 chance of spawning, and if you interact with it, it'll have like a Dragonite in there, just like unique encounters that way.
Sure.
But they could also do things like little raids and dungeons in, you know what I mean? Like they could have a little dungeon in there where you climb in, and then it has like a little portal that you interact with, similar to the one that you use to go to the distortion world, and then it, enters like some kind of wave mode or something with dungeons, and there's so many things that they could do that way. Which
exactly.
I think that's such a cool idea on your part too. The one other thing I would say is I think it would be really cool. I know that they have social media, but I would love to see them be more active on social media and like on YouTube and stuff, which I kind of get why they can't.
Sure.
Or why they don't.
Same.
But at the same time, like I think it, in a perfect world, it would be super cool to see trailers for events and to see like hype things of upcoming updates and like just to build hype and like retain players. I think it'd be a really cool idea for them to, even post on Instagram, like, if they're gonna drop alpha Pokemon, it's like a silhouette of a Garchomp, but then it has like the red border. You know what I mean? Just interesting things like that where you get hyped.
Yeah, hype the community up, because if I kind of have to rely on content creators to hype me up, catch me up on news I may have missed, doesn't seem like something's wrong about that, but it's inconvenient for the average player, right? Like not
For
not
sure.
every player gets on YouTube every day, checks out the Petrowski stream recap, et cetera, whatever it
Yeah.
may be. Like if they had that like on a welcome page or something on this game, just letting us know what's coming. It doesn't even need to be social media. That'd be great.
Yeah, even exactly like you said, like a recent, like they have the updates and stuff, but if they just made it more aesthetically pleasing, where it's like, here are the top highlights you missed from this update,
Mhm.
and so then you can, as a player, if you take a little year break or something, you can pop back in and pop that open and be like, oh shoot, like look, they added alpha Pokemon, I'll check that out, or there's this, or
Sure.
some kind of guide or something for even new players. Um, I think that would just be a really cool mechanic that way. Like I think of things that instantly come to mind, like Poke Earth
Yeah.
from Cerebi. Every time I
Oh
play
wow.
through a Pokemon game, I always go through, like, even with, not, I couldn't really do it with Scarlet and Violet, but like I played through Sword and Shield a bit later than most people,
Okay.
and I pulled it up so I could see like what Pokemon were at the route, the percentages, and then it made me like, oh cool, I want to come hunt for Sizzlipede here and like look for this Pokemon, or it just
Mhm.
is like, it's nice to have more of the information at your fingertips.
Exactly. Yeah.
But again, maybe the MMO aspect of that is why they avoid it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then there are the people in the forums that kind of make up for that, right? Like Best Friends is like a repository of information.
Dude, that guy is a vault
Roy
of
Rogers News.
information.
Roy Rogers News.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Roy Rogers News is the goat, dude.
Dude, he's the goat. He's a goat.
Yeah, shout out him, honestly. But um I said wrapping it up, then we just kept going, which is funny. But with, I guess, going on with coming to a close, do you have any other advice or that you want to give everybody? Do you have any like forum post links you want to share? Anything like that? I know you don't, like you said, you weren't as much of like the content creator side of things, but any forum posts you think would be helpful, link to your shiny showcase, stuff like that you want to plug here at the end?
Sure. I have a showcase in the forums. You guys can check it out. I made it about a week ago in anticipation for the podcast. It's just a Sliide shiny showcase. Nothing crazy going on in there. It's just more so we can just use that as a reference for what we talked about today. Keep watching YoungCabbage. That's all I got for you. Oh, and then of course when it comes to the game, to be real, have fun. I know you kind of got to be a special person to fall in love with PokeMMO and log in every day. Don't be afraid to interact with the community. The community will embrace you back if you embrace it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Well, great advice. Again, Sliide, always a pleasure, man. Aside from the podcast, it's always fun to just chat and catch up to hear what you've been up to and
Of course.
see how many mighty Annas you've caught since we last talked.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'll have a couple more by the time I show up here again.
Yeah, dude. Hey, but thanks again, dude.
Of course, bro. Of course.
Again, towards the end here, I just wanted to give a huge thank you and shout out to my buddy Sliide again for joining me. I do hope to have him back on the podcast, and I hope that you guys all enjoyed him as well. But all of this aside, let's jump right into the catch events that are coming up this week. So, for the first catch event, we have one that is going to be taking place on the 30th of May called Kanto Heroes. This is going to be hosted by Elizin. It will take place at 14 UTC, and the prize is going to be a gift level 100 Venusaur with your choice of nature, 4 moves, and 6 selectable IVs, as well as 1000 RP. After that, on Friday, the 31st of May, we have one called the Nice Mustache Dog, which I am very excited for. This is hosted by Cosmuth and will be happening at 19 UTC, where the prize will be a gift shiny Lillipup with your choice of nature, 2 moves, and 3 selectable IVs, as well as 1000 RP. I'm super excited for this one because I actually grew up with a little Maltese, and Lillipup literally looks like that dog, so I definitely will be here competing for that prize. After that event, on the 1st of June, which is Saturday, you get an event called Two of a Kind. This is hosted by Elizin again, and it will take place at 19 UTC, where the winner will be awarded a gift Minun or Plusle, one or the other, not both, but at level 100 with your choice of nature, 4 moves, and 6 selectable IVs, as well as 1000 RP. After that, we have an event on Sunday, June 2nd, which is called There's Life Beyond the Mountains. This is going to be held by Des Brunos, and it will take place at 4 p.m. UTC. where your shiny prize is very interesting. I've never seen this before, but it's a really cool concept. The first place prize will either get a gift shiny Wurmple, or a shiny Silcoon, or a shiny Cascoon. So basically, you get 3 different options of what shiny you would like if you receive that Pokemon. I'm not sure if you get the Wurmple, if it's going to be, randomized, or if you get to choose its gender. So if you wanted Beautifly or Dustox, you are actually able to choose that through the first place prize. I just thought that was kind of cool that they would go that far. Also, of course, you are able to get your choice of nature, 2 moves, and 3 selectable IVs. You also get 1000 RP. And that wraps up the catch events. We've got some pretty exciting ones. Again, like I said, I am mostly excited for the one on Friday. That's the nice mustache dog, where I'm actually going to be able to compete to get a gift shiny Lillipup. I just think that line is criminally underrated, and they have amazing shinies. If you don't know what shiny Stoutland looks like, just do yourself a favor and go look at it. But now that that's all done, let's jump right into the featured media. So for the forum post of the week, I actually had my buddy Best Friends link me this forum post that I thought was such an interesting idea. And it was posted by somebody named Strodex. And it is called the PokeMMO World Journalist. And it holds a really unique idea and purpose that I personally haven't seen before, but also shows you how creative some of the PokeMMO community is. So basically, this guy is a self-proclaimed PokeMMO World Journalist, and he essentially goes through and makes different blog posts. And I'll just go ahead and read the first one, so that way you get an understanding. It says, this was posted on the 20th of May, and it says, my name is Dex. More importantly, I am a Pokemon trainer with a vested interest in investigating and reporting on the Pokemon world. Every town, I will find out what the heart of the people is, potentially some gossip or rumors, and go into the culture of each town and region I enter. I believe that we can learn a lot from dissecting the vested interests of the people while listening to stories to acquire different perspectives of the issues of today. Starting off my story, I will begin in the Kanto region. And so that's just a little example of one of the blog posts. And he goes through and he actually does little funny interviews with, Professor Oak, or he goes and interviews the townspeople and just creates all of these different little quotes that I think are super cool, while also giving tips to new players. It's a really unique idea, so please go check out this forum post. And huge shout out to Strodex. I think that's one of the coolest ideas I've ever seen in PokeMMO. As for the featured YouTube video of the week, we are actually going to be taking a look at a channel I'm sure all of you guys know and love, which is at Petrowski's channel, for his video, My Best Shiny Hunting Day Ever PokeMMO Stream Recap 100. Now, I was actually chilling in this stream, and I got up to go get food, and he ended up getting 3 shiny Pokemon in 3 hours. It was so crazy. I watched the highlights. I know Barrels as well as Pat ended up sending out a bunch of different highlights of things, but I just thought it was a really, really, first of all, well-deserved moment for Petrowski. And honestly, what a poetic way to kind of close the first 100, stream recaps with 3 shinies after going dry is really cool. Something about that almost just screams, streamer luck or whatever, but at the same time, I'm happy for it because it was entertaining to watch. And Petrowski is a super good guy, super helpful to the community, so huge congrats to him. Go check out this video. It is a little bit long, however, he does have timestamps. So if you just want to go check out the shinies, there are a few little timestamps you can just skip to. However, I would just recommend watching the whole thing. But yeah, so shout out to Petrowski, and congrats on all 3 of those shinies. That was super fun to watch. With all of this being said, that actually is going to bring episode 4 of the PokeMMO podcast to a close. I just wanted to, again, give you guys a huge thank you. I truly have so much fun doing this. I think that the podcast, in my opinion, has improved a ton since I did the first episode. And it's all thanks to the feedback that you guys gave me in the first few, saying that you wanted them longer, saying that you wanted them less scripted, things like that. It really has kind of allowed me to put myself out there in a very unique and vulnerable way. So thank you for that, and thank you for the support. If you want to continue supporting the project, go ahead and make sure to subscribe on YouTube, so that way you can never miss an episode here, as well as check out all the other guides that I make. And most importantly, go check out Spotify. I'll have the link in the YouTube video, but go check out Spotify and follow the project. I'm really trying to push this to a few more platforms aside from YouTube, just so that way more people can just toss it in their ear if they don't have, YouTube Premium or whatever. But if you are enjoying this, it would mean a lot if you would just go check it out, leave a little review, as well as tell me what you guys think I can improve upon for next week or what guests you would like to see. Regardless, thank you so much for supporting the project, and I will catch you guys in episode 5 of the PokeMMO podcast.